Hello, everybody. It is your baby boomer Kitty Lane from the Peninsula in Virginia, back with another Create and Relate. Huh. So, how is everyone today? I can tell you right away, I am not sipping on coffee this morning. I am sipping on good old water. Okay. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. Um, even if you're catching this on replay, just the fact that you took the time to watch the video. Yay! And please don't forget while you're here to hit that like button. Please leave comments, whether you're in the chat or whether you are um, watching the replay. Please leave comments. Also, my subscriber number is stuck, and I thank each and every one of you. But please share my videos so we can get those numbers up. I am still looking towards reaching that first goal of 500. I really want to get there. Um, and I'd like, honestly, we have until December. My goal is to possibly hit 750 by December. So please help me get that done. Please. What we're going to be working on today, because it is like a little tutorial that I will be doing today. And this is the swatch of what I will be making or sharing with you. You can make this as long or as wide as you'd like. Like I said, this is just a little simple swatch. It is a 4-row repeat, and it's really simple. And I can't wait to get started to show you about that. But there are a couple of things that I want to go over before that. One of the things is I want to show you that another washcloth has been made. I am using up all of my cotton trying to get these washcloths done. And instead of going for that 62 by the end of the month, because I am several days behind, in my spare moments, I just pick up cotton and start crocheting. So this is the latest washcloth. And when I tell you that my family loves them so much that after washed and dried, like I think I have now, I think this makes number 9. Um, and my family, bless their hearts, I have to hide these because they love to give them away. They love to give them away. They love them so much that they just up and give them away. I also wanted to show you the progress of, hi, baby, how are you? Hold on. Lena! Oh, I'm sorry your internet went out, but I'm glad you're here. But this is the progress so far of the poncho. I think you can probably see the butterfly a little better. But I have one more blue and 3 shades of purple to add. So this is close to being done. It's all double crochet. It's really simple. Um, it's really, really simple. You know, once you count to your first open spot and you determine how you want your pattern, from there it's like pretty mindless. You just go from there. And like I said, that's it so far. And the butterfly is on all panels. So you'll see it all the way around. So those are the 3 things that I have. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is this morning I had like one conversation through text and the other one going on the TV. And it was really strange at the time. Um, both of the conversations were leading in the same direction. And I had to take a moment and release the tears because I told a dear friend something that I really don't talk about that much. I have told you, oh, the washcloths, Lana, they are like, I don't mind showing you. I don't mind showing you at all. Once you determine what size you want, I always start with the foundation row because with cotton, to me, it's easier than doing the chain and working up from the chain. Once you get your foundation row as wide as you want your washcloth, then you can determine whatever kind of design you want on it. This one that I have is all half double crochet. The ones that I'm making for the house are either all half double crochet or all single crochet. So it's nothing fancy schmancy about it. Um, I've done them in the linen peel stitch. I've done them I've done them in moss stitch. My grandson likes those, but us females are not really crazy about them. Not saying all females aren't, but me, my daughter, and my granddaughter are not really crazy about them because of the holes in between. Um, and me, especially, my youngest daughter uses the paste on nails, the stuck on nails. And my granddaughter has very thin nails. And me having these claws, they tend to go through those holes. So if I'm scrubbing, lots of times I'll end up scratching myself. So I try to stay away from the moss stitch, even though it is one of my favorite stitches. But with the washcloths, I try to stay away from it. I am going to try to do a few with the connected half double crochet to take out that space between, so it'll be consistency all the way across. So, like I said, I don't mind working with you on that. We can do that. That can be a you and me project, but outside of that, it's whatever you can envision. Jeanette, how are you? I'm so happy to see you here. Um, Back into the subject that I wanted to get out of the way early. The moss stitch is single crochet chain, single crochet chain. So you just single crochet, chain, skip a stitch, single crochet, chain, skip a stitch, skip a stitch. But yeah, it's like I said, we'll work on that. That's no problem. But what we talked about this morning was essentially from my end was loneliness. I have expressed twice in two videos before that I'm lonely. Um, the part of that I have left out is that I'm afraid. And where that comes in for me is that I was raised an only child and I had some really horrific things that happened to me as an only child. I always felt that if I had brothers and sisters or even just brothers, a lot of those things would not have happened to me. So as I grew up, I always found it more comforting to surround myself with people, whether they were friends, associates, family. But as I grew older, I learned to read energies. So I would surround myself with people of positive energy. And I'm not a mingler. So I would find my little space and I was just happy feeding off the energy, of others. I don't go places when I feel negative because I don't want to put any negative energy on anybody. When I found my poetry group, I felt like I had found heaven, because this was a group of positive, like-minded people. And there was one place that we went, the venue is actually called The Venue. And every time I went in, once you go in the door, over to the far left is the table that's closest to the stage. That was my table. And I would go in and set up my crocheting. So I got like the best of all my worlds because open mic was open mic. You could do poetry, you could read from a book, you could act a scene in a play, you could just talk to people, you could sing, whatever you wanted to do for your 4 minutes on that stage, you could do. And it was, on top of that, I could sit in my little corner, my little space, and crochet. So I had the best of all my worlds right there. I'm surrounded by people, but I'm in my own little space, which makes me what they call an extroverted introvert. I love being around people, but I still have that need to be, thank you, Lana, thank you. But I still have that need to be alone, because it's a familiar space to me in the way that I was raised, not having brothers and sisters, especially not finding them until 8 years ago. Um, but yeah, that's where we are. So to make this beauty right here, whatever yarn you want to use, whatever size hook you want to use. What I use is 4 worsted weight yarn. I use scrap balls. Um, I made a wrap for a nurse, and I've been determined to bust my stash. So that's what I made hers from. It's very, very, very colorful. I rushed in packaging it to ship, and I don't want to tear the packaging. So what I did was created a little swatch. That's upside down. Okay. A little swatch so that you can see what it looks like. That's the front and that's the back. So it's pleasing either way. Yep. And I wanted to share with you guys how I did it. There were a few people that said that they would love a tutorial. So what I have is teal. I know that's Big Twist teal. I'm pretty sure this is Mainstay Red. And I have no idea whose purple this is. But it's all 4 worsted weight. And I'm going to be using teal as my main color. I'm going to use the red for the window panes, and I'm going to use the purple for the window itself. You'll see what I mean. So, I have grown to love foundation chains. If you remember how I start my slip stitch, parallel to the finger, twist around, yarn over, and pull through. That's the easiest for me. But however you make your slip stitch is fine. But you make your slip stitch. See if I can pull you a little bit closer. Okay. And I start mine with a chain 2. Go in the back hump. Yarn over and pull through. That has 2. And then you're going to yarn over and pull through 1 of those loops. And then yarn over and pull through 2. That first one you pull through is making a chain. It's making a chain at the bottom of your first single crochet. This is the only row that will be, the only row that will be single crocheted except the last row. So it's going to be the first and the last. So your second stitch is going to go under that first chain that you made, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 1, and yarn over, pull through 2. And you're going to continue that until you reach your desired length. Just make sure you end with an odd number. So right now I'm on 3. I think I'm going to do 25 with you guys, just so I can show you a pretty decent swatch. And I did something really, really fantastic. I put my very first pattern, my very first written pattern is in the description box. Go, kitty. I did that, y'all. But I wanted to show you as well, just in case I didn't do the written pattern properly. Now, what you'll see in the description is to make your foundation row with the half double crochet, and that's fine. That is fine. The most of what you'll do throughout this project is the half double crochet. I'm pretty sure I don't have 25 yet, but I'm going to give it a quick count to see what I have. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16. Okay, 9 more to go. It's 18. 19. 20. 21. 22. 23. 24. And 25. Okay, once you reach your desired number, which should be an odd number, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. And that's what we have. That's just your foundation row. Now we're going to go back across this row with half double crochets in each stitch. And the half double crochet, of course, is yarn over, go into your V, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. So that's your half double crochet. 4, 5, Now, when I get to my tail at the end, I like to work it in as I go. So I pull it up and incorporate it in that last half double crochet. And then I do my single crochet and turn my work. And what I'm going to do with my tail at this point, I'm going to work it along with, I'm going to work it along with this next row, which is also going to be another row of half double crochet. And it'll show in the description box as two, it'll show 2 and 3 as rows 2 and 3. Where you half double crochet in each stitch. If you don't want to work your tail in, you don't have to, but it's less to weave in at the end. Doing it this way, I only have, the way I'm going to show you, I only have one tail to weave in because I tie my work. I tie and snip as I go. And I use a regular simple knot. I think some people call it a boat knot. I find that it works pretty good with acrylics that are not like slick or have that like slick residue on it, namely Temu yarns. Temu yarns feel like they have a little coat on them. And because of that, that simple knot does not really work. I will do the snipping of that knot out that doesn't work. I'll do the simple knot, but I will leave the tails and work the tails in. Okay, before I do my last stitch, I always start my last stitch so I'll know how long or short to cut it, where I'm going to tie it. That way I have my little knot. And when I work it, what comes up to the next row is my red. Now this is what I call my window or window seal or window panel, I guess. And you're just going to chain one, turn your work, and from here you're going to do your half double crochet in the first 3 stitches. And from here you're going to chain one, skip a stitch, half double crochet, chain one, skip a stitch, half double crochet. And Lana, this is like the moss stitch using the half double crochet. So it's just chain one, skip a stitch, half double crochet, all the way across until you get to your last 2 stitches. This is the first row of your 4-row repeat. When you get to those last 2 stitches, you're going to half double crochet in each one of those stitches. That brings you to the end. And here's where I'm going to tie off my work. And I'm going to be adding my next color for my window panes. Okay. Finish this last stitch off once again. Oh, I did that wrong. There we go. And when I pull up to my next color, I'm pulling up my window pane. Chain one, turn your work, and that's what the first row of your 4-row repeat looks like. And then right here, you're going to half double crochet in your first 3 stitches. And then in that next stitch, you're approaching that first open space. What you're going to do is yarn over, go behind, it looks like in front to you, but if it's facing you, you're going to go behind that first open space and you're going to go into the top loop of the half double crochet below, yarn over and pull through. And then you're going to complete a double crochet. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And if you'll see, what you're getting is your little window pane here, your little purple window pane right there. That's the start of that window pane. And then in the next, make sure you do not go under that very next open stitch. You're going to skip over to the stitch right above the half double crochet. And then you're going to half double crochet there. And that's completing your first window. Yeah, your first window. And as you go along, you'll see how that works out. Now, after this half double crochet, you're going to do the same thing you did. You're going to yarn over, go behind the top of that window sill, go in the top of your main color, yarn over, pull through, and you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then you're going to half double crochet in the next stitch. Not the one right in front of it, but the next one. And that's what's making your little windows and it's making your little ridge. Exactly, it's filling the windows. And that's what you're going to do throughout this row. So once again, you're going to yarn over, go behind that bar, go in the top of the half double crochet 2 rows under, yarn over and pull through. Then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then you're going to yarn over and not go into that stitch right there where you just went. Not above where you just went. You're going to go into the next one. Yarn over, pull through, 3 on your loop, yarn over and pull through all 3. So it's double crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, half double crochet. Then all we can do is push forth. And like you said, it's all in God's hands. Once you approach the end of your row, That's when you fill in that last window. It's gonna look like you have 4 stitches left. You really don't. You're gonna skip over that one as you've been doing, and then you're gonna half double crochet into the last 3. And once again, you're gonna change your color. From here, I'm gonna go back to my windowsill color, which was red. You see where I pull up my red. And you're gonna chain 1 and turn your work. So those are the first 2 rows of your 4-row repeat. Now on to row number 6, which is row number 3 of our 4-row repeat. You are simply going to half double crochet into each stitch going across. And 25. So that is what it looks like from the back side. I have not given up on you at all. I need an address as to where to send them. But that's what you're looking like. You're row 1, row 2, and row 3. And at this point, you're going to switch back to your main color. I would never give up on you, Jeanette. I've been in a similar situation. And I'm a firm believer that miracles can happen. I know for a fact that miracles can happen. And then you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. And to seal everything off, you're going to do the same thing you did in row 3. And that's just half double crochet across. That's like adding the house color back to it. So just think of it as building a house. And you know what? I'm going to show you something a little different. Okay. Once you get to row 4, You're going to start out as you do every row with your 3 half double crochets. Okay. And then you're going to not back loop and not back post. You're going to go into under these loops. You're going to go through here. Come on, do it for me. That's where you're going to go. Your post is down here. You're going to go up under where you would put your stitches. You're going to do it from the back side. That's going to give you an additional ridge in the front. And that's what it's going to look like. Okay. Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 18. Okay. 23, 24, and 25. And that is what the completed row looks like. Lori! So that's your first 7 rows. Like I said, just a quick recap. You can either start as we did with a foundation single crochet row or a foundation half double crochet row. What I've described in the description box is half double crochet. And then your next 2 rows, rows 2 and 3, are going to be all half double crochet. And then your 4th row, which is actually the first row of your 4-row repeat, is going to be 3 half double crochet, chain, skip 1, half double crochet, chain, skip 1, half double crochet, chain, skip 1, half double crochet, all the way until your last 2 stitches. You'll be ending on a half double crochet. So at the end of that row, you're going to add 2 more half double crochets, change your color, chain 1 and turn your work, and then you're going to do your first 3, half double crochet. And at that point is where you're going to yarn over, go into the half double crochet at the top of the 3rd row, and then complete that double crochet. And then you're going to half double crochet in the next stitch. And then once again, you're going to do that half double crochet post. That double crochet post. And then you're going to do the half double crochet post, half double crochet post, half double crochet post, half double crochet, all the way to your last double crochet post. It'll look like you have 4 stitches left, but you only have 3, because if you remember, that open space right there looks like it might be your next stitch to go into. It's actually the next stitch of the stitch that you went into with that double crochet post. In your last 3 stitches of that row, you're going to do half double crochet, and then you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. And then in each stitch going across the top, you're going to half double crochet. That's row 3. That was rows 2 and 3 of your 4-row repeat. The 4th row of the repeat, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, of course, change your color. You're going to go back to your original house color or whatever color you choose. And you're going to half double crochet in the first 3. And then you're going to back half double crochet under your stitches, not in the post. You're not going through the post of the half double crochet. You're not going through the post. You're going through behind the loops, but you want to go behind both loops. So you do that all the way to your last 3. And there is where you're going to insert your 3 half double crochets. And that is your complete 4-round repeat. And from there, to end it, your project, once you get it as tall as you want it, single crochet, turn your work, half double crochet 2 or 3 rows. If you start with a row of single crochet, then you'll do 2 rows of half double crochet. If you start with the half double crochet, you'll do 3 rows of the half double crochet. And since I started with the single, I'll do the 2. Yes. Please forgive me, guys.
You're done, some toast, please.
Baby,
Yes.
you know how to put the bread in the toaster, right?
Yes.
You think you can put the jelly on the bread?
Yes.
I have grands. And I appreciate her asking me. That is my granddaughter. Okay, I did my two. And to fasten off, I do my two chains. Snip my work. Pull it through, pinch, and pull. Okay, Lana, we understand. We understand. Love you. So this is what your work looks like. You'll see that slight raise there, just giving you texture, kind of like an eave over your windows. And that's what your windows look like. And there you are again. So it's kind of textured on both sides. It's just a little softer on the back, but on the front, it's very prominent. I did 3 colors with this one. So you have a different window pane. And then the swatch that I prepared for you coming in, I only used 2 colors. And that's what it looks like. And they are really, really, really pretty. If you wanted to change the colors of your 4-row repeat every single time, which is what I did with the wrap that I made, it's like really, really, really pretty when you do that. The one that I made, Lori, was so colorful. I'm using my phone to stream, so I can't show you pictures. I did not take a picture of the finished project. I think a few lives ago, I probably showed it as I was working on it so you could see the colors if you want to go back and look at that. But like I said, my first written pattern, Go Me, is below in the description box. I took the time to type that out. Yes, I did. That is the only place you'll find it written out. I'm going to go back and try to redo that. And there's nothing that I would change about it, really. Everything is, I wrote it out as I was doing this one. So that's the product that you should come out with. And the one thing I wanted to show you the difference in, okay. Right here at the bottom. This is starting with a single crochet foundation row. This is starting with the half double. So it does give you a little more width when you start with the half double crochet. And just remember, if you start with the half double crochet at the bottom, you're going to do 3 half double crochets at the top. If you start with the single, and that just evens it out. If you look at it, it looks more even. See the difference right here? And this is all the half double crochet. This is with the single crochet and the 2 half double crochets. So it just looks a little more even if you adjust your ending according to how you started it. I very much think that this could be done in half double crochet, and when you do your window panes, you just use a triple crochet instead. But as you can see, it's very simple. We went through a tutorial in less than an hour. And I would be willing to say we went through it almost in a half hour, or maybe a little more than a half hour, because we did some talking first. But yes, that is easy. Lori, since you popped in, I can show you the progress of the poncho. We've gotten down to one of the blues. We have one more blue to go and 3 shades of purple. So we have approximately, let me see, I think I have 1 round of that. And then we're going to do 7 more rounds to go. And then that will be completed. This is my latest washcloth. This one's all half double crochet. And I was telling everybody that the ladies in the house prefer the closer stitches. So I'm making all of these for the house. I doubt if all of them will stay in the house. That's just not the way it works here. My kids and my grandkids are just like me, and they just want to gift everything to everybody. So when they run across new friends and even older friends, or whatever category they fall in, or someone that's been exceptionally nice to them, then they come home and grab a handful of washcloths and gift them, tie them up in a little bow and gift them. So that's what they do. And I'm on a mission to get rid of all this yarn that I have right now. I wanted to start over new, but that's not an option, being that I keep buying yarn. I can say that the yarn that I'm buying now is for a specific purpose. I am going to try to do Advent bags. I am not promising that that will be done. But in the case that I don't do that, what I will do is offer tutorials for, crochet alongs, tutorials, whichever way you want to put it, for the complete bag. I am working on the first one. I already have the layout for the second one. I'm not sure at this point if there is going to be a third one, but I'm looking to do this in February. But I want to get the prototypes done now so that I can show them and people can know what they're looking for in the future. My goal is to do these with all Premier Just Yarn from Dollar Tree. And I know that my Michelle, to you all, yes, Michelle crochets, but I will always call her my Michelle. My Michelle pointed out to me that Premier last week had a sale of 12 of those balls of yarn for basically $1 each. $12 for a bag of 12. So I did the math. And it cost me 1 cent more per ball to get them from Dollar Tree, because I would have to pay for shipping. And I don't do $75 at a time. So for that reason alone, I would have to pay shipping and I wouldn't have to wait. That is my instant gratification. You go to the store and purchase the yarn and it's here. That is the greatest instant gratification. Excuse me, y'all. Yes.
She made her own toast.
Good, baby. We couldn't have waited until after the lab to discuss that.
Can I say that? Can I
No.
make my own toast?
Yes. Yeah, you have to do that, Lori. I love those little rugrats. I do. They are my heart. When I tell you I'm with them every day, that is not a joke. I am with them every day. And my daughter reminds me when I say, look, y'all go out there and play, close my door. My daughter will come stand in my door. She was like, you begged for grandkids. I did. But I'm the one that had 4 kids. One passed, unfortunately, and I raised 32 others. So yes, I raised 35 kids. I'm used to having kids around. Do I get upset with them? They're children. Of course we get upset with them. Do I spaz out and go crazy? Not even. We'll have serious moments. When they get loud, I have to get loud to let them know my voice is louder than theirs. But yeah. And let me tell you something else that we do here. So since it's summer, they feel like they don't have to go to bed. They still have a bedtime. When they exceed that bedtime, determines how much PT they have to do in the morning. So when they get tired of waking up in the morning and doing jumping jacks and push-ups and holding positions and running in place, then they tend to go to bed the next few nights at the time that they're supposed to go to bed, and they go to sleep. We have one that's autistic, bless her heart. And she's level 2 autistic. She is verbal, but her lack of sleep is not controllable. We don't want to medicate her. So we encourage her to stay in bed. Now, when she gets up and starts creeping in the middle of the night, then she gets the PT as well, because we've told you to stay in bed. Now, if you go to the bathroom, you don't get PT for that. That we encourage you to get up and go to the bathroom. Oh, well, hopefully something will happen. You all get to move closer together and you get to see him more. But yeah, we don't unfairly. I don't even like to use the word punish, and I don't really like to use the word discipline. But we don't unfairly correct bad behavior. We very fairly correct bad behavior. I am one for do your job in helping to clean up. If you don't do your job, then you start missing toys. I don't throw them away. They cost too much money. But they do go in a special place, and you have to earn them back. And as of school year next year, their chores will be considered their job. We have play money. They are going to get a paycheck, and taxes are going to come out. They have to pay rent and utilities and a all-out grocery bill every time they ask to eat out. That comes out of their money. When we go to the store and they ask for special toys and stuff, that comes out of their money. Of course, they're not getting real money. We have taken construction paper and we have put dollar amounts on it. We've changed the colors of each so that they will not only have to rely on the number figure, but they'll know by the color that it's a different denomination. And we do that for her more than him. But we're teaching them the same lesson. So the more they see that their money is gone, and we're using the Ziploc bag system, their pay is going to come in one Ziploc bag and it'll be marked pay. And then they'll have one that says savings. I encourage them to save a certain amount every time they get paid. If they get extra money, they have a extra chart. Each one has a chore chart, but they have an extra chart where if they make extra money, I encourage them to take that money and put it into savings. And if there's something big or special they want to do, well, at the end of every month, the banker adds interest. So that way they can see that through real banking, their money will grow if they invest in this savings account. They're paying themselves, and the bank is saying their thank you to them. We're also, after this year goes by, we're going to introduce CDs and IRAs and those types of things, so that they know this is money that you put aside that you cannot touch. If you touch it, the bank gets to take a portion of it. So it's like, it's a bad situation. But if you leave it in here for a certain amount of time, this is what you will get back. So because I think as a society, starting with my generation, a lot of our parents failed. My mom was focused on me being an active part of community, and me not feeling so alone and engaging in team activities and those types of things. And that was great, but I was so unprepared. And as a result, as an adult, I have struggled my entire adult life. I have. But when I sit down with people and show them, I did take one semester of accounting. I am no accountant. I just sit down and think processes through. And I let people know in the beginning, I didn't go to school for this. But this is my logical thinking. If you try this, let me know after 3 months how this is working for you. Out of everybody that I have told that has stuck to what I've told them, 100%, it's better for them. And all of those people have continued on to make themselves better. And that's great. I don't look for anything in return. I just hope to make people's lives happier. I don't want anybody to struggle the way we have struggled. God knows we have struggled. But I tried to teach my kids how to do their student loans. My oldest daughter is a mathematician. She is a double doctrine. Anyway, she has her doctor's degree in mathematics and in education, which they don't call it a doctor's, they call it a E something, whatever. But it's the same as a doctorate degree. So you would think that the mathematician would listen. And I told her, I said, hey, when it comes to your student loans, as soon as you take the loan out, give it a month or two, get in contact with the company and find out what your payments would be. Let them know that you want to pay them, as soon as possible, but you need to get your budget in order. Start making those payments right away. And she's like, but no. Start making those payments right away. When you graduate and you get them to redo your loan, you will see that it is much smaller. Your payments are going to be much smaller. Pay the same amount. Because most of your payment, or a lot of your payment, is going towards interest. If you pay the same amount, that's coming off your capital. And if you have to, one more time, get them to reassert, I forgot the terminology for it, then you'll see you owe little of nothing. You will not have this hanging over your head for years and years and years. And of course, she didn't listen, but her best friend listened, and her best friend did it. And her other bestie, who was an accountant, did the same thing. Both of them came out smelling like roses. My son did it, and he went to school for it's something in the art field. He's a dynamic artist. He is a dynamic artist. But it was drafting and designs, I believe, is what he went into using his VA loan. And he did the same thing with the portion that he had to pay back before he walked across that stage. He was done. He didn't have anything trailing him. Nothing. My youngest daughter did the same thing. Nothing. So, let me see what you said here. You said math and economy are not as married as people think they aren't. Math can be detached from context. Economy is not black and white and always has context. You are so right. You are so right. I remember them teaching economics when I was in school. Well, I mean, we learned how to sew clothes, and we learned how to cook. I learned how to bake an apple pie in home ec. And those types of things. We talk very little about what it actually took to make a household run. To me, that's economics. It's not just about, when we went to school for home ec, we saw everybody in aprons. You know what I'm saying? It's not about just the cleaning and cooking. That's all a part of maintaining the home. But you have everything else that's involved that's financial. Well, what else is involved in that a lot of people fail to look at is your state of mind. If you cannot allow yourself the opportunity to break away every now and then to refurbish your mind, I think the best job I ever had was working at the hotel. Not only because I could pretty much make my own schedule, but they just about paid us to go on vacation, and the discounts that we got in the room, rooms that people were paying $129, $179, $219 for a night. We were paying $39 to $49 for. You see what I'm saying? So it's like the hotel was saying, "Hey, I realize you need a break here. Here's my portion, and go get your mind back." you know. And I think that that's a big part of it. But along the way, I had to do my part. I had to keep putting that aside. My granddaddy would say, "Pay yourself first," and I'd have to take that $25 every time I got paid and sit that aside and sit that aside and let it build until I was able to go do that. And I never left. If I didn't have money to go to the grocery store when I got there and got enough to sustain me in my room that would stay in the room for the length of time I was there, then I didn't go. If I didn't have enough to fill up my car before I left home, fill up my car on the way back, and fill up my car while I was there, I didn't go. If I didn't have enough in there to cover an emergency fund, and this is those extra $200 bills that I had tucked somewhere in case something happened, I didn't go. And lots of times we find ourselves in situations when we give ourselves such a hard edge on what will and what will not be accepted, we don't go. That's where I am now. My disability check is X amount of dollars. My rent is X plus Y. If it weren't for my daughter, I would not be here. And on top of that, yes, I do get extra supplements so I can get groceries and get some of the first aid things that I need. And all of that's good and great, but because of the fact that and I'm a baby boomer, our generation before us failed to prepare us, then we are finding ourselves in a situation where we almost have to accept what is. You have so many people out here relying on the lottery, relying on um, casinos, and that's their ticket out, that's their way out, or having to work 3, 4, and 5 jobs, and those types of things. And honestly, I don't think we were designed for that. I think that in our design, a lot of living pleasurably was put in that scheme for us. That's how I feel. I don't blame our parents for not teaching us the right way. They did the best they knew how to do, because most of them were struggling in their own way too. They may have had the money, they may have had the resources, they may not have had either. They may not have had, one or the other, or however it is. Maybe they didn't have the patience, maybe they didn't have the time, maybe they didn't have the money, maybe they didn't have the resources. I don't know a lot. Here's a good example. When I was 4 years old, I went through a speed reading course. I was able to read very young. And I went through a speed reading course at a private school, horse riding school, and with it, equine school. The son of the owner taught me how to ride a horse. My grandmother and the owner were best friends. So they predicted very early that Tommy and I were going to get married when we got older. We were going to the college there in Wilson, which then was Atlantic Christian College. And we were going to get married and have X amount of kids and the happily ever after. Well, life happened. Tommy and I did go to Atlantic Christian College together. We even dated for 2 weeks and realized that we were not each other's cup of tea. We were not each other's cup of tea. It had nothing to do with background. It had nothing, because at that point, Tommy and I were so different. I went to school on a partial scholarship. He went to school with having to work and pay his way through. Now, mind you, his family was extremely well off. And they could have afforded the college itself, you know, but he chose a different path in life. And the path that he chose in life was not liking to me. And I was too much of a straight and narrow person for him. As adventurous as I am as a Sagittarius, my definition of adventurous was not his. His definition of adventurous was more like daredevil and you might die. And I'm not, that wasn't for me. So we stayed friends. We still are. And, but whereas I had to watch and budget every penny, he was frivolous. He would get his paycheck knowing he had to buy books for class. And he would go do other things, and then knew he couldn't go to his parents. He's doing odds and ends around campus to try to raise money to, typing other people's papers and tutoring students. And this is outside on top of having a job. He's doing all of this, burning the midnight oil and all of this other stuff just to get his books that he had already received the money for, because that's the only part his parents will pay. They give him the check for his books. The rest of it is on you, which probably is the biggest part of college. The homing and the books. Woo. But we chose different paths in life, and whereas the homemaker, a lot of what I can't do now is, because of my health, but I have the mindset enough and have raised my kids enough that we're okay. As far as that's concerned, that's not the problem, except when it comes time to purchase the things we need to. Hi, Millie. How are you? It's nice to see you. I'm not going to be up here much longer, but I'm glad you popped in. But these, that was just a quick little financial lesson there. Don't forget the description for, I don't even know what to call it. So maybe you all can come up with a pretty good name for it. It's a simple 4-row repeat. It is in the description box. If you need to go back and look at this live over, please do. As I said in the beginning, please don't forget the thumbs. And if you're not subscribed, I'm sorry. But if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. When you see that notification bell, please hit the one with the dimple so that you always know when I'm here. I love you guys, each and every one of you. I thank you for being here. Don't remember to be bold, be brave, be beautiful, and behave. Remember, Kitty Lane told you. Remember, Kitty Lane loves you. So until we see each other again on these YouTube streets, peace out, everybody.